Picture this. In the vast expanse of the universe, an epic battle unfolds. The Archangel Gabriel, radiant with divine light, faces off against the sinister Beelzebub, cloaked in shadows and deceit. This confrontation isn't just about two figures. It's a symbolic clash that resonates through time, echoing the eternal struggle for our hearts and souls. Why does this celestial duel matter to us today? Because it embodies the fight for integrity in a world rife with corruption. Are you ready to uncover how this ancient battle impacts your own spiritual journey? Stay tuned as we dive deep into the legacy of King David and explore how his choices still illuminate our paths today. In the dimly lit alcoves of a forgotten library nestled in the heart of the Middle East, a group of determined scholars unearthed a remarkable collection of ancient scrolls. These texts, wrapped in the whispers of time, held secrets that would challenge and captivate minds for generations to come. The air was thick with the scent of old parchment and mystery as they carefully unfurled what seemed to be a hidden narrative that added new dimensions to age-old tales. The celestial clash between Gabriel, the Archangel, and Beelzebub, the Prince of Demons, over what could be termed David's legacy. The stories contained within these scrolls were not just tales of long-lost battles or esoteric prophecies, but a saga that intricately wove spiritual heritage and divine strength. Unlike the legacies of kings that spoke of wealth, opulence, and power, David's legacy, as revealed in these fragile scripts, was rooted in the essence of a spiritual journey marked by faith, courage, and unwavering trust in a power higher than oneself. In a world where material gains often overshadow the subtleties of spiritual wisdom, this revelation struck a profound chord. Gabriel emerged from the texts as the guardian of the divine word, a title that resonated with a timeless responsibility. Tasked with safeguarding this sacred heritage, Gabriel's role was far from merely symbolic. Instead, it entwined with both the human and divine, forming a bridge between heaven's intentions and earth's realities. This celestial guardian was depicted not just as a majestic being, but an active participant in the earthly realm, influencing the course of human destiny through gentle whispers of inspiration and guidance. Gabriel's watchful presence was a reminder of divine promises and the assurance that, though the path may be fraught with challenges, divine strength is unassailable. These ancient writings unveiled prophecies that forewarned of a lurking evil, eager to corrupt this legacy. They painted a picture of Beelzebub, insidious and ever calculating, poised to overshadow the spiritual light with shadows of greed and pride. The texts chronicled spiritual battles fought not in grandiose world-ending spectacles, but within the hidden corridors of the human soul. As humans are drawn towards pride, material indulgence, and moral compromise, the struggle between light and darkness became a personal affair, fought in the heart's quiet moments. As the scholars delved deeper into these scrolls, they were confronted with the weight of these revelations. Their discovery was not just archaeological but deeply spiritual, urging them to reflect on the implications of possessing such knowledge. Each scroll seemed to pulse with its own life, whispering truths that demanded not only to be understood, but also lived. The responsibility of revealing this narrative to the world was daunting, for with great knowledge came greater responsibility, the responsibility to protect David's legacy from being trivialized or misinterpreted. The ancient wisdom unearthed suggested that divine strength was not simply a concept, but a living force within the faithful. It spoke of a power that resided not in temples or treasures, but within hearts that hold true to the divine promises and guidance. Fueled by faith and an unwavering spirit, this strength manifested as resilience against the corrupting forces that desired to bend humanity's light into shadow. As the scrolls painted Gabriel not just as a distant figure, but an ever-present guide, it became apparent that his vigilance over humanity was more vital than ever. His embodiment of the guardian of divine word was not theatrical but deeply relational. He worked tirelessly to remind humankind of their celestial lineage and the potent spiritual heritage that resides within. These accounts echoed the divine reassurance that despite looming darkness, hope is eternal, and divine guidance remains steadfast. Such revelations provoked a deep introspection among the scholars. The magnitude of knowing that beneath the earthly struggles lay a divine narrative was humbling. It was as if the library itself whispered lessons through time, urging humanity to reclaim its ancient spiritual heritage. These scripts urged a reconnection with an age-old dialogue, a conversation with the divine, led by Gabriel's eternal vigilance and a renewed commitment to purity of heart in defiance of Beelzebub's machinations. This profound chapter of the narrative, unearthed from ancient whispers, echoed with urgency and reawakened clarity. It called for a resurgence of faith and sought to reignite the divine fire within individuals, urging them to guard against the encroaching darkness with unwavering hearts, a lesson for both the scholars who discovered it and the world that would soon watch this story unfold. The questions lingered, urging reflection. Are we truly preserving the divine legacy entrusted to us, or are we succumbing to the deceitful allure of material might? In the midst of ancient mysteries and legendary whispers, Beelzebub emerges from the shadows with intentions as dark as his essence. Unlike the benevolent whispers of ancient scrolls that reveal divine guardianship, Beelzebub's manifestation is a sinister silhouette, weaving through the intricate tapestry of human weaknesses and desires. Hailed as the Prince of Demons, he is well versed in exploiting the crevices of the human heart, sowing seeds of corruption and discord among those destined to steward David's sacred legacy. The presence of Beelzebub is not unlike an invisible toxin, seeping slowly but steadily into the veins of kings and leaders. It is the seduction of power that crumbles walls of righteousness, turning the noble aspirations of men into playgrounds of egotism and hubris. The lures of wealth and dominion coax them away from spiritual truths and lull them into moral slumber, their eyes blinded to the spiritual treasures laid out within the divine scrolls discovered by the scholars. Yet the machinations of Beelzebub are not merely confined to leaders, rather they echo through the corridors of everyday life. As the text illuminates, even the diligent scholars, cloistered within ancient walls and swathed in parchment, are not immune to his insidious whispers. Their resolve is tested under unrelenting spiritual attacks, where moments of doubt flicker like candlelight against approaching storms. It is their vulnerability, shared by all humanity, that becomes the battlefront. Ominous signs cascade through the societal hierarchy. Integrity disintegrates, replaced by a hunger for self-glorification. Where there should be stewardship, there lies domination. Where there should be service, there permeates egoistic ambitions. The individuals closest to the laws that preserve David's legacy find themselves ensnared by pride, their perceptions distorted. A veil woven by Beelzebub himself casts shadows upon the divine vision of unity and spiritual richness. And yet, amid this embracing darkness, scattered pinpricks of light emerge, ephemeral yet potent enough to signal hope. In moments where hearts teeter on the brink of moral oblivion, an unseen force intervenes. This is Gabriel's quiet yet resplendent protection, his divine shield extending over the vulnerable corners of the souls, striving to hold on to the purity of the legacy entrusted to them. His presence, subtle yet powerful, imbues the scholars with courage and imparts upon them the clarity needed to recognize the true battle, fought not just in physical realms, but within their very souls. This quiet but resolute protection underscores the duality of humanity itself, the constant struggle between light and darkness, between divine purpose and earthly temptation. It sends a message resounding in spiritual wisdom passed down through ages. The true battle for David's legacy is captured in the hearts of every individual, not merely in the texts found. And within this battleground, the willingness to embrace spiritual growth over temporal gains determines the purity of that legacy. As Gabriel's safeguarding presence continues its work, a startling realization arises concerning the vulnerability intrinsic to human nature. The seduction of power and wealth resonates deeply within the human experience, and without vigilant guardianship can erode even the most hallowed legacies. This vulnerability, acknowledged through the ages, serves as both warning and call to arms for those who seek to preserve what is sacred and just. These shadows of Beelzebub, which present risks of falling into the crevices of pride and greed, are yet the very elements that Gabriel foresees must be confronted to protect David's legacy. The legacy's strength lies not in earthly holdings, but in the dominion of faith, grace, and the divine commitment that must be carried forth through unwavering tenacity and spiritual resilience. Through struggles and signs, the recognition of human vulnerability becomes the pathway through which the true essence of divine promises is safeguarded. In aligning with the spiritual guardianship symbolized by Gabriel, hearts once assailed by doubt find solace in faith's embrace, propelled forward by a legacy as timeless as the truths inscribed in those ancient scrolls. In the midst of mounting tension and spiritual strife, the celestial confrontation unfolded with a power that stretched beyond the comprehension of mere mortals. Gabriel, the messenger of heaven, emerged not just as a guardian, but as a radiant embodiment of divine purpose and strength. His divine form was a beacon, dazzling yet comforting, as he descended into the realm where the tangible and intangible met. He was the herald of purity in a time when shadows threatened to blot out the essence of King David's spiritual legacy. His radiant presence was a testament to the unwavering faith and loyalty that had once defined David's relationship with God. With every motion, Gabriel exuded an otherworldly grace, his wings shimmering with an ethereal glow that seemed to draw strength from the ancient covenant between David and the Almighty. His voice, resonating like a choir of celestial harmonies, broke the silence of the realms, addressing the forces of darkness led by Beelzebub. As skies darkened with foreboding, clouds and the earth trembled beneath their feet. Nature itself mirrored the transcendental battle at hand. Storms gathered as if the heavens themselves stood ready to unleash their fury upon the corruption, threatening to undo the sanctity of David's enduring legacy. In this cosmic arena, Beelzebub, the prince of flies, the corrupter of souls, stood as the antithesis of light and purity. His malign ambition was fueled by an insatiable hunger for chaos and decay. Determined to blot out David's legacy, Beelzebub wielded the tools of human frailty, greed, pride, and the allure of power. History bore witness to leaders seduced by these offerings, heralding a time of corruption and spiritual decay. Yet, within this onslaught, glimpses of divine light preceded Gabriel's full revelation, reminding all that the forces of righteousness were never silent, merely poised. The battle between Gabriel and Beelzebub transcended the visible spectrum. It was an encounter that spanned the physical and spiritual dimensions. Nature's upheavals, storms, quakes, and celestial anomalies were but echoes of the spiritual clashes that rocked the foundations of earthly existence. Gabriel's strength was magnified by his deep connection to David's spirit, a sovereign whose heart, imperfect as it was, always beat in time with divine rhythms. Invoking the spiritual fortitude of David, Gabriel summoned an extraordinary light, a luminescence that pierced through the shadows and confronted Beelzebub's dark might. The beams of light were not merely illumination, but manifestations of faith and loyalty. They were expressions of a power untainted by the passage of time, a power that thrived wherever true devotion to God was found. Gabriel, utilizing this divine radiance, weakened Beelzebub, whose form flickered and retreated within the face of such potent majesty. The clash became an eternal dance of faith versus deception, purity against defilement. As the forces of light and darkness waged their spiritual duel, the significance of David's legacy crystallized. His true power lay not in material grandeur or monumental achievements, but in his unwavering dedication to God's will, even amidst personal shortcomings. This revelation was the weapon against corruption, demonstrating that the heart's alignment with divine purpose could illuminate paths shrouded in darkness. In the backdrop of this celestial confrontation, humanity watched as if suspended between potential paths, one leading to decay and the other towards redemption. The celestial conflict was more than a divine spectacle. It was a clarion call, urging all to recognize the source of genuine power, faith, integrity, and an abiding connection with the Creator. Gabriel's presence reaffirmed that divine aid was never beyond reach for those who sought it earnestly. Just as David found strength in moments of weakness through his steadfast connection to the divine, so too could every believer draw from that reservoir of spiritual strength. The battle underscored that while corruption could taint the surface, the core fortified by faith and loyalty remained impervious. Through the interwoven narratives of heaven and earth, this celestial confrontation illuminated the invisible threads connecting the past, present, and future. The legacy of David, fraught with human error yet defined by spiritual triumph, served as a beacon of hope in a world where the struggle between light and darkness persisted. In this ongoing battle, Gabriel's triumph against Beelzebub resonated as a testament to the enduring power of faith, urging mankind to embrace the divine light within and safeguard it against corruption's relentless assault. Amidst tension and spiritual strife, Gabriel reassured that the true legacy of any soul lay in their unwavering faith and devotion. As celestial forces clashed, the story of David's heart stood as an eternal reminder that in the universe's balance, purity of spirit, and sincerity of purpose could never be overshadowed. Through storms and shadows, the celestial confrontation carved a path to redemption, inspiring all believers to nurture their own legacy of faith and integrity, ready to face the forces that sought to distort and destroy. The battle between Gabriel and Beelzebub over David's legacy has rippled across realms, shaking not only the heavens, but also the earthly plane, where humanity stands as both witness and participant. As Gabriel invoked the divine light, illuminating the purity of David's faith, the shadowy tendrils of corruption wielded by Beelzebub began to recoil. This dramatic revelation was not merely a celestial spectacle, but a profound call to introspection for mortals witnessing these events unfold. As the divine light spread, the thick fog clouding human judgment and morality started to dissipate. The shift was palpable. Something transcendent began to infuse the air, a sense of renewed purpose that whispered to the hearts of all who bore witness to this celestial confrontation. Through the manifestation of David's unwavering commitment to God, a legacy of integrity born out of trials and tribulations, those who had succumbed to darkness found themselves at a threshold. The stories of David, a shepherd boy turned king who walked a path rife with personal failings, enveloped in faith and forgiveness, now spoke louder than ever. Hebrews 11:32-34 tells us of the might wielded by David, not just in battle but in faith. It painted a picture of what integrity under the guidance of divine purpose could achieve. Those who had strayed began to see the futility of their alliances with shadows. Clarity pierced the confusion, leading them towards repentance. In the realms where Beelzebub's influence had once felt unshakable, there came a strange, quiet shifting. People started to awaken to the deception that had enwrapped them. Like the prodigal son in Luke 15:11-32, who realized his wandering, many souls began a tumultuous but heartfelt return to the paths of righteousness and integrity. These were individuals who once enjoyed benefits from dubious decisions, the wealth of ill-gotten gains, and the power wielded through manipulation. Yet faced with the brilliance of divinely inspired integrity, they saw these transient treasures for what they truly were: shackles masked as ornaments. Leaders of communities who had long been swayed by corrupt desires found themselves experiencing an epiphany akin to Saul's on the road to Damascus. The light that Gabriel channeled seemed to penetrate not just hearts, but societies, instigating discussions centered on justice, ethical governance, and humility. From households to high offices, people began to feel an urge to align with the essence of David's legacy. The victory of integrity was taking form not through force, but through the gentle, persistent appeal of truth and righteousness. At its core, this revitalization of spirit was not about achieving moral superiority, but about returning to a place of humility before God, acknowledging human frailty and divine grace. Micah 6:8 sums up this aspiration: to act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with the Lord. The victory of integrity lay within the willingness of the human heart to be molded anew, to embrace transformation that comes from a sincere openness to divine direction. And therein lay the triumph. Beelzebub's hold could only falter in the light of voluntary surrender to goodness, an authentic commitment to walk in integrity despite the shadows that persistently test such resolve. This renewal was not merely personal. It mirrored across societies as individuals reignited light in their lives, forming a collective blaze of morality and purpose that was resistant to the encroaching darkness. This surrender was not submission but liberation, a liberation of the soul reclaimed from the chains of deceit and self-serving ambition, a return to unity with the greater good. The battle between light and dark is an eternal dance. Just as shadows return at night, so too does corruption seek to embed itself anew. Yet in understanding the legacy of David, a beacon of faith even in the face of his own moral failings, the faithful are equipped with a profound source of hope and guidance. It is a legacy of action, as David transformed his repentance into renewed faithfulness and leadership under God's guidance. Drawing from this pool of renewed understanding, people began to craft their own personal narratives, deeply intertwined with the principles of justice and humility, hallmarks of a life aligned with divine truth. The repentance of key figures bolstered believers, paving pathways even non-believers could see as meaningful. This movement of spiritual renewal and awakening thus became an enduring commitment to a more just, compassionate, and faithful existence, both individually and collectively. What transpired here was not a final victory over darkness, but a significant triumphant stride that fortified the hearts of believers for the ongoing and inevitable struggles between light and shadow. Even in the face of impending challenges, and the persistent struggle between good and evil, this rejuvenation of faith and integrity, galvanized by the recalled virtues of David, offers an unerring direction and a glimmering beacon of hope for believers everywhere. It reminds humanity that while battles rage, both within and around us, the endowment of integrity, when nurtured by faith, is an illuminating path that transcends trials, fostering a world ever moving closer to its divine ideals.